left. So what are we doing and how are we spending our time? So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about ways to optimize our time. But before we start, I'm going to grab something. This is my phone. So how many of you have heard of the Gospel of Abraham?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if everybody's heard it. Everybody
The
knows
Gospel
what it
of
is.
Abraham?
This is new. The Gospel according to Abraham. Everybody grab your phones. Everybody stand up. Right hand up. Phone in your right hand. All right, everybody turn around. All right, now everybody wave your right finger. Now take that finger and touch the sound button or turn it all the way off for the next hour. Okay? Exercising the gospel according to Abraham.
Right.
Alright? Phones off. No buzzing. No ringing for the next 45 minutes or so. We good? Alright. Now, next thing. Let me grab my clicker again. Time. Dad, tell us a little bit about how you like to spend your time.
All right, Greg. I am a golfer. And I worked for 41 years in manufacturing. But I always created time for God. You need your personal time to renew and refuel. So after a hard week or a hard day or an emergency, I found solace in God. In fact, I'll tell you a story. Played in a golf tournament and we won the tournament. And we were supposed to go to the next level. The folk know I was a Sabbath keeper. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't play on Sabbath. I can't play with you. They said, can't you get permission from the Pope? I said, man, we need you. I said, no, I'm sorry, I can't play. And for 41 years in business and industry, I ran the largest facilities for Michelin and her Celanese. I never had an issue on Sabbath. Never. Because I always told my boss, if there's an issue on Sabbath, I will not be here. If you don't want me to have this job, don't give it to me, because I won't be there. So that's why we need you. So I'm a golfer.
I'm a cyclist. So for many years, my dad said, you need to learn how to play golf. In industry, you go to meetings, you know how to play golf. And somebody dared me to do a triathlon. And I don't do very well with the dare. And I said, okay. And I fell in love with cycling. So I ride miles and miles and miles and miles. And this is where I get recharged. And me and God have a lot of really interesting conversations. Sometimes some, I'm done, God, but I gotta get home conversations. But this is where I make time for me. And so sometimes people will call, and my mom knows even on Sunday morning, where's Kim? Oh, she's out right. So this is my time. Now, for you, this is another stand up exercise. Everybody, stand up. And I want you to find someone that you don't know, close by, because you're going to work with them a little later. But close by, introduce yourself, the city that you're, wait, now, listen for instructions. The city that you're from, the church you attend, and one thing you wish you had more time to do. Okay, go ahead. All right, so today you guys are going to do a little work, but it's free work, okay? So you all are joining a consulting team, okay, with my father and my son, me and my daughter. And this is one of our clients. His name is Pastor Aaron. Pastor Aaron is the pastor of and you might want to take a few notes. He is the pastor of about a 300-member church in the city of Green Vegas, South Carolina. Now, Green Vegas is a city that's been around for a while, and there's a strong economic base of manufacturing. Manufacturing was at its heyday maybe 30 years ago, but now there's a lot of tech in town, and still an automotive manufacturing base. So in the church, you have multi-generations of Adventist families who've been there forever, but you also have a lot of families that are moving through. Now, Pastor Aaron, you can see he's a young guy. He's married, he has 2 boys. One is 10, one is 13. The mission of his church is building strong bodies. So that's what the church is focused on. Interpret that however you want to, but the mission is building strong bodies. Okay? Client 1 is who? Pastor Aaron. Client 2, this is Dr. Steph. Now, Dr. Steph is a professor at USC. She is on the tenure track. She's got 2 girls. One is 10, and she's into fencing. And the other is 16, and she plays tennis. Dr. Steph's husband is a regional sales manager, so he travels Monday through Thursday. He's home on Fridays and the weekends. So Dr. Steph has a lot going on. She's managing work, she's teaching, she's doing research, she's got her girls, and she's managing the house. So she's come to us, and she's a little frazzled because she's trying to figure out, how do I balance all of these things, and where do I establish priorities? So this is client number 2. Who is this? Dr. Steph. All right, so now we're going to get some guidance on some tips that we can use maybe to help Pastor Aaron and Dr. Steph.
Thanks, Kim. It's pretty amazing to be able to work with your daughter. I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing. Not only work with your daughter, but your son, who's a dentist. God has blessed him. I give him all the praise. But these kids were taught. They weren't given time out. Put me in jail. I wore them out. You can put that in the bag. They had discipline. But stewardship is about management. Stewardship is about management. How you manage your resources, your time, your treasure, your temple. It's about management. And you have a fiduciary responsibility, a custodial responsibility to manage those assets that are not yours, by the way. You brought how many things into this world? You're going to carry how much out? You want to be a good steward. Being a good steward, you got to manage those things. Now let's think about time. When you think about time and the definition of time, it's a measure, this is what the Wikipedia says, it is a measure in which events can be ordered from the past to the present to the future. It's a measure of duration of events and intervals between them. That's what time is. It's also a measured period in which an action or process or condition exists or continues. The point or period when something occurs. That's time. Now, no one seems to have enough time, yet we have all there is. How we manage it is a secret. Why some people can accomplish a lot more than others. Some people like to procrastinate. They just like to take up your time. Procrastinate, and I see somebody smiling. They like to just wait till the last minute. I've never been that way. I've always looked ahead because you don't know what's going to happen. You want to be prepared. Have a watch. Now, in manufacturing for 41 years, I don't wear a watch. Nor, because of my biorhythms, I never need one. Never. When I was working at 4:30 every day, the Lord says, get up, we need to talk. We need to talk. And for an hour, I asked the Lord to order my steps. Tell me what you would have me to do today. Don't need a watch. But, if you think about it, there's 60 minutes in an hour. You know, there's 60 seconds in a minute, 24 hours in a day. It's about 86,000 seconds that you can do stuff with. You don't have to sleep. In fact, as a manufacturing professional, when I really had something difficult, I would get up between 2 and 4 and really focus on that thing, Elder Edwards. I wanted to make sure I had it right. So I said, Lord, I need you to help me. So time. Think about this. There's always enough time to do it over. Always enough time to do it over. Never enough time to do it right the first time. True story. When I went to Michelin's largest plant in Greenville, South Carolina, there was a large area for rework. Rework. Why do we have this rework area? Well, you know, we didn't do it right the first time. Get rid of it. We will have no rework in my plant. You will do it right the first time.
That's okay.
We will not have rework.
Oh, it's okay.
Save $10 million because people focused on doing it right. Write me, call me, email me, text me. 4 different generations. You have them in your church. It's very critical that you know who you're working with. The millennials, they ain't gonna write nothing. They don't want to write. They will not write.
Got that right.
The baby boomers, they want to write something. In fact, even today, I'm writing a to-do list every day. And I prioritize what I'm going to do. And just like you, if I've done something, I write it on the list to scratch it off. Because I enjoy getting things done. Now, I simply give you this visual because people are different. And how they work and how they communicate is different. One of the most effective things you will learn about managing your time is learning how to listen. Learning how to do what?
Listen.
True story. For 45 years, I've been married to the same woman.
Amen.
Same time. And for 45 years, every Thursday is family night. Every Thursday. My boss said I have a meeting. Can't be there. I have an appointment with my wife and children. We talk about what's bothering them. Tell me how your day's going. It's been so effective. My son has Thursday night, family night. And they talk about what's going on in their lives. This is prime time for us, and we make it a priority. When you prioritize stuff, the important stuff gets done. It's important to you to make sure you prioritize and you make it happen. Now, how do we prioritize? This is a prioritization model. We typically like to do the stuff that's easy. Try to get it done first. Shouldn't do that. Should work on that which is mission-oriented. Now, whether you have a mission statement in your church, you have a mission because that's what you work on. You might have the wrong mission, but it ought to be mission-driven, what you work on. You decide what you work on. The third quadrant at the top has the most positive impact, and it's easy to execute. You work on those things first. So you choose those things that has the highest impact on mission. Now Kim's going to take you through an exercise. She's passing that out. But while she's passing it out, I just want to make sure you understand that even your budget should be mission driven. Shouldn't you say make a budget like we do in South Atlantic? It ought to be mission driven. I'm on the finance committee, I can say that. You should build your budget based on what you're trying to do from a mission standpoint. You don't just put the same amount. In fact, in industry, we had a concept of zero-based budgeting every year. You had to justify every expense every year. That was painful. If you had a cost reduction, couldn't put that in your budget, Drake. It's taken out. It was zero-based budget. So, Kim's going to take you through an exercise now to help you deal with some of the concepts and tools that I've introduced.
All right, so everybody remember Pastor Aaron?
Yeah.
All right, so
Does everyone have a sheet?
no, you have a table. The table should have a sheet. And your team, you introduce yourselves to each other. There's a purpose for that. So once you work together. So on your sheet, Pastor Aaron has about 10 things that are important. 10 things that are going on in his church. So using the prioritization model, remember you've got highest priority, priority 2, I missed you. You go back one day. That's okay, you'll talk in about 2 minutes. So work with your table. And you're going to prioritize these items as highest priority, a secondary priority, well, what you might rank as number 3. But remember, you also have the option to reject some things, to scratch things off and say, I'm not doing that. Okay? So I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes, work with your tables, and come up with a list, a ranking, and then we'll hear from some of you how you prioritize the items on Pastor Aaron's plate right now.
And then our third one was number 7. If he puts that elder team together, a lot of these other things can fit right in place.
Very good. Let's get that table. Did anyone do anything different? Y'all are up there. Go ahead. This table right here.
Okay, our table, we looked at
And look up and out.
the top priority was the pastor itself.
That's right. Okay.
How you start your day every day. And stewardship is about systematic work. Systematic work. It's not hiddenness. If you want dividends, you got to make deposits. Okay? Think about how you start your day. Word says, I must work the works of him who sent me while it is what? Day. For the night cometh, no man can work. You got to work the work of him who sent me while it is day. Let me give you a quick formula for profit. It is talent plus work plus time. Find that in Matthew 25. God gave them talents. And the one who did not work buried it, there was no profit. But the ones who took that talent, worked that talent, used that time, was profitable.
And Dad, let me give another example. So like I said, I race. And so in triathlon, you can't just show up at the race and expect to swim, bike, and run. But that means when at 4:30, you're at the pool swimming. And you have to swim boring laps after lap after lap after lap. And you run mile after mile after mile by yourself or with a group. But when it's race day, you have to be ready. And you are not ready for the race if you have not done the work of him, whatever he's called you to do. If you haven't prepared, you're not ready for the test. And so in any application, there are times when we have to do the hard stuff that nobody sees, that's really hard, that might be really boring, but that practice and that time of doing it over and over and over again, it becomes muscle memory. So whether it's a lake or it's a 25-meter pool or a 50-meter pool, I got that. I can go swim.
Ephesians 5 says, live life and with a due sense of responsibility, not as men who do and know the meaning of life, but as those who do. This is about redeeming the time. Here's my favorite, one of my favorite topics. And it's because we can increase our effectiveness tenfold. We can increase our effectiveness tenfold if we meet with agendas. And when you have an agenda, first of all, if you're going to have a meeting, the meeting should be to make decisions about mission. If it's an informational meeting, send it out. Send it out an email. Pass it out. But if you're going to have a meeting, have meetings to make decisions. You're going to have meetings, train yourselves. In fact, at Michelin, in every conference room, there are meeting mechanics. you have, is there an agenda? Is there a facilitator? Is there a scribe? Is there a timekeeper? Who and who's going to do what when? Call an action register, and we'll talk about that. But meetings that you have where there's no clear decisions, no summary of agreed upon actions, actually, I don't go to those meetings. If there's a meeting and no agenda, I ask the question, what are we trying to achieve? Or we're having a meeting? No. My time is important. What are we trying to achieve with this meeting? Is it about mission? Or is it just a meeting to have a meeting? Now, I could do that because I was the boss. But you can do it. Manage your boss. Ask him or her, what are we trying to achieve with this meeting? It's okay.
And manage the elders, and manage the AY leaders, and the deaconess, and the deacons, because we do this in church too, and our time is still very important.
Good. In your meeting, don't allow idle conversations. If there are idle conversations going on, just shut the meeting down. Simply say, your meeting is more important than mine. Can you share with us what you're talking about? It'll get their attention. And when you have a meeting, you bring back the action register from the prior meeting. You start with this. Here's what we said we would do. Here's who was going to do it, the primary person responsible. Here's the date it said it would be done. And here's the status. And it simply could be, we didn't do anything on that, we will carry it over. But this is a tool to help you be more effective. To be more what? Effective. And efficient. And gives you more time to work on the Great Commission. Adding time to your day is win-win. It increases satisfaction. It really does. It increases efficiency. In fact, you develop your plan, then you work your plan. You develop your plan, then work your plan. Effective planning is flexible. You know, if in fact, Murphy's going to get in there. It's all right, just change course. You can change the course. Communicate in writing. Again, you got that 4 generations. Some people prefer to send a text. I'm going to write it out. And I'm going to ask at the end of the meeting, what did we decide at this meeting? The scribe will review the actions that we've taken. And what are we trying to achieve? When everybody is on the same page, you will find what God said in Genesis 19. Everything they want to do, they can do because they are one mind. Let's go down and confuse them. Learn how to say no. Learn how to say no. Now, I'm not asking you to be disrespectful, but if your plate is full, ask your boss, what are we taking off the plate? You can't do everything. You cannot do everything. You can't please God and who? Man. Learn how to say no. In fact, I'll tell you a story. First thing in the mornings, my first action was to walk the floor of the plant. And I would go back to my office, shut the door, and summarize what I saw. Sometimes employees would come up, they'd knock on the door, and I'd say, sorry, I'm busy, can you come by? It's important to be able to say no. We spend 80% of the time to get 20% of the results. What if it was 1 for 1? Lots of efficiency. The most successful people are not those who work hard, but those who work hard at hard work. Working on the right thing. This is a time management matrix, different from the prioritization model. You work on those things that are urgent and important. Those things that are urgent and important. Because you always can find the things that's easy to do, things that are not important. When you work on those things that are important and urgent and mission-driven. Okay.
Back to Dr. Steph.
Dr. Steph.
Everybody remember Dr. Steph?
Yes.
All right, you have your seat and your team. We'll be tight here, but again, we'll do about 3 minutes. So, quick review, what are the things going on in Dr. Steph's life? She's a professor. She has 2 daughters. She's home alone 4 days, most of the week. What else? She's doing research and her husband's traveling. Okay, that's enough for you to know. All right, so thinking about important and urgent, and just as human beings, all the things that you are managing in your life, in the bottom box with your group again, write down 2 or 3 things that you think are, if we go back, important and urgent that she needs to do. Okay? Important and urgent for Dr. Steph for managing her family life. 4 days that she's by herself. We have a 10-year-old, 16-year-old, both involved in sports.
By one day.